Good morning, YouTube! What is up, all my fellow geeks, geekettes, nerds, comic book readers, video game players, and action figure collectors all around the world? This is the Proud Nerd, and I am back in a brand new type of video for all of you beautiful, wonderful people. Now, this video, I'm doing something very different, something I have not done before. As you guys know, I am a huge Black Series nut. I just love these figures so much. They have so much good potential to offer, and they do deliver on it. So tonight, in this early morning, I should say, it is currently 5:12 a.m. in the early morning here in the beautiful city of Elk River, Minnesota. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. Now, in this video, I will be doing a top 15 Black Series list. Which ones I like the best, which ones I think are the best sculpted, best detailed, and I'm really excited to show this list to you guys. It was hard because it was really difficult choosing only 15. I got my list right here. So yeah, let's get to it. There were a few figures that did not make the list, so I'm gonna have runners up, or figures that were still good but just didn't quite make the list. They just failed to hit that mark. So, and also on a quick side note here, look how many Black Series figures I have now. I can't even fit all of them into frame. This is insane. This is bonkers, but in a good way. Alright, get the other Black Series figures out of here, but I'm keeping the figures that were originally on the list, but they just didn't quite make it. Now I'm not saying any of these figures are bad. No. A lot of these figures are still really good figures, really good high quality, at least as far as I'm concerned. I love every single one of these figures. In my opinion, there is not a bad figure in the Black Series. Just gonna get all the figures out of here that did make the list and just keep the runner-ups over here. I'm doing the best I can not to make a big mess over here. Alright. Now these three right here, these are the runner-ups. Or no, my mistake. These four. These four were the runner-up figures. They just failed to hit that mark. Now, Obi-Wan here, I originally did want him on the list, because he is a really good figure. And in all honesty, I used to hate this figure. I absolutely despised it. I was ashamed to have it in my collection. But if you guys watch my videos, you know my Bespin Luke, his little nub here that plugs into the saber, that broke on him. So that was the only reason I picked up Episode 3 Obi-Wan. And thankfully his lightsaber was a perfect fit. And I happened to have an extra blue blade laying around from another that came with a lightsaber that came with a figure that I bought. So I gave it to Episode 3 Obi-Wan, and it looks pretty good. And yeah, I did used to hate this figure because the articulation was just frustrating. I could not get him into the two-handed pose no matter how hard I tried. But aside from that, he's a still really good figure. You know, his articulation's not that bad, and focus there. The likeness to Ewan McGregor is there. It's not a dead-on likeness, but it is there nonetheless. And the sculpting is beautiful on this figure. Just beautiful. And I love that they gave him the little the soft goods part of his robe here. And that is sculpted fabric, looks awesome. His belt looks amazing. I absolutely love that belt. It is amazingly detailed. The saber itself, it looks awesome. Really, just amazing work, Hasbro. You guys just put so much love and care and detail into these figures. And even on his face, come on camera, please focus. If you guys can make it out, he does have his mole on his forehead, just like in the movies. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. And I will say, get comfortable, grab a snack, and make yourselves comfortable. Because this is going to be a long video, my friends. So yeah, even though I used to hate this figure, it's really grown on me. Oh yeah, and his boots look really good. And he still has the double jointed knees, which I'm a huge fan of. The sculpting and texturing on his pants look really good. Yeah, and the sculpted wrinkles in there look really damn good. Yeah, so even though I used to hate this figure, I do love him. And it's really grown on me, and it makes me sad that he didn't make the list. It's just the other figures that did make the list are... Not saying this figure is not good. It is. It's amazing. I love this figure now, and I'm so proud to have him in my collection. But the figures that did make the list, they just have so much more to offer. Maybe if they gave Obi-Wan here his robe, or like what they did with the vintage collection Obi-Wan back in 2010, they gave him his robe and they gave him his headset that he would talk to Anakin on when they were flying in their Jedi fighters. Maybe then he would have ranked higher. But he's just a very bare bones figure. But with that said, still an amazing bare bones figure. And I am happy to have him in my collection. Now the next guy that didn't quite make the list is the Shock Trooper. Now, again, a really good figure. Really good. And it really has that classic Stormtrooper feel to it. And I love all the articulation on here. I love the sculpting. The paint apps are awesome. It was actually the paint apps that drew me to this figure, because I love the red on him. That red looks awesome. And the only reason why he didn't make the list is because I just love the First Order Stormtrooper design so much more. And we will get to the First Order Troopers. Again, not a bad figure, really classic Stormtrooper feel. It's just, I like the First Order design so much better. But still, for what this figure is, he's really good. I absolutely love this guy, and whenever I take pictures of Darth Vader with a bunch of Stormtroopers, I always include this guy. This guy is never left out. So, I'm happy to have him in my collection, and I'm really sad that he didn't make the list. Still a really good figure nonetheless. Now next, we have my very first Black Series figure. Yes, my very, very first Black Series figure ever. Force Awakens Kylo Ren from Force Friday. Now, why didn't this figure make the list, even though he's my very first one? Well, because I got the unmasked Kylo Ren, and the sculpting is so much better on that figure, and the hood is better, the lightsaber's better. He's just my the unmasked version of Kylo Ren is my definitive Kylo Ren. But with that said, this figure is still good. That mask is amazing. The soft goods robe mixed with the plastic is really good. That has nice sculpting on the back of it. Even though it's not screen accurate, I still have a soft spot for this lightsaber. And his boots look good, and he's just a good figure. It's just my unmasked Kylo Ren version is just a little bit better. But I do still love this figure, and I do display him in my collection. After all, this was the figure that got me started on collecting 6-inch Black Series figures. So I love this figure, always will love this figure. Really, really happy to have him in my collection. Force Friday Kylo Ren, a very good figure. Now, last but not least, for the runners-up, the figures that were good but just couldn't quite make the list is Emperor's Wrath Darth Vader. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jason, you're crazy about the Black Series Darth Vader. Why didn't the Emperor's Wrath Vader make it on the list? He's practically the same figure. Well, I agree with you. He is. What stopped him from making the list? That's the problem. He is pretty much the same figure, just with a removable hand and a completely different head sculpt. You know, it's like they're throwing us the same pack of gold, but they're adding a few more trinkets of gold in there to make it look brand new. And in comparison to this Darth Vader, he doesn't live up to it. This Vader just doesn't live up to this one. No figure I own ever will. But with that said, again, the sculpting, the paint apps, amazing. I really love the purple helmet. Come on, camera, focus. Thank you. I really love the purple helmet, and I love that you can see the electricity going through Vader's helmet. That looks really badass. I love it. And I love right here, you can take his hand off. I didn't know you could do that at first till I saw reviews of this guy on the internet. And Hasbro did an amazing job sculpting little wires in there. Come on, camera. Focus. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys can see that, there's little wires in there, and they're all painted. Now, clearly, Sideshow Collectibles did a much better job with this, but for what Hasbro gave us, that's not bad. So, and he's really, like, battle damaged, too. Like, his robes aren't staying as good on him as the original Darth Vader. They're kind of falling off. His codpiece is kind of sagging on him, and his cape is really drooping behind him. It's not saddled over. It's not sitting on his shoulders like it normally does. It's kind of falling off. So yeah, Hasbro put a lot of thought into this figure. They really made him look battle damaged instead of just giving him a purple helmet and removable hand. And his legs, they look a little out of proportion, like they're battle damaged too. It could just be me. I could be wrong. But for what this Vader figure is, he's not bad. I do love that helmet sculpt. I know a lot of people painted it black and put it on the regular Black Series Vader figure, but for me, I think this helmet sculpt is perfect. The mask looks awesome. Yes, I agree the eyes are a little too big, but I don't care. In my eyes, it's perfect. So, this way I can have the best of both worlds. Alright, now we got the runners-up out of the way. It's time to get to the actual list. And number 15 on my favorite Black Series action figures list is one I wasn't planning on getting, but back when I was dating AJ, She picked this guy up for me, and now looking back, I'm really happy she did. It is big deal. Now, I've really grown to like this figure. It's not perfect by any means, but I really love the jacket on him. That jacket is what really makes him stand out. And he's got amazing sculpting on his pants, and I love the sand on his shoes and on these parts of his pants. That's so cool. His jacket looks amazing. Just beautiful detailing and a little bit of weathering throughout, so it looks like it's really been worn a lot. And I love this little detailing right there. That looks really good. And he's got awesome sculpting on his shirt instead of it just being black. So that's really cool. And his torso articulation is exactly the same as a First Order trooper. So that's pretty damn cool. My only complaint with this figure is that head. That does not look like John Boyega at all. Hasbro, what did you do? This is John Boyega, not Tracy Morgan. Yeah, that looks like Tracy Morgan. And not that I have a problem with that. I love Tracy Morgan. He's funny, but this is supposed to be Finn, not Tracy Morgan. What the hell, Hasbro? But his hair is nicely sculpted. His face, although horribly inaccurate, is still nicely sculpted, nicely painted. And I love these little rivets going on his up his whole sleeve here. That looks really cool, and I love the pockets on his jacket. I'm going to be honest, it's the jacket that makes this figure. If Finn wasn't wearing this jacket, it probably would have been a huge pass for me on this figure. And he can hold he can hold a lightsaber very decently. So I'm pretty happy about that. So, Finn from Force Friday. He is number 15 on this list. Next, we have Jyn Erso from Rogue One. Now, I really like this figure a lot. The sculpting is really good. And the paint apps are just freaking awesome. I love that holster. That holster right there is badass. And she's got nice sculpting in her pants and got nice details in her boots. And she's got that Jyn Erso booty. She's got nice detailing on the back of her belt and all along the back of her jacket. And going all along up the sleeve here. That looks awesome. Her gun is beautifully detailed. But again, Hasbro missed the mark with that head sculpt. That does not look like, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Felicity Jones from Rogue One? That does not look like Felicity Jones, who I believe that's her name. I'm probably getting it wrong. But that does not look like Jyn Erso. But even so, her hair is nicely sculpted. You got that bun going on in the back. She can look up and look down. Her articulation's really good. The only thing that got this figure so low on the list is this right here. That is so warpy, and it scares me that if I'm not careful with this figure, I'm going to break it. But I love this figure. I'm really happy to have her in my collection. She is a welcomed addition, and so far the only other female Star Wars figure I have in my collection is Rey. So I'm really happy to have more female Star Wars characters in my Black Series collection. As soon as I'm able to get Princess Leia from A New Hope, I will be getting her. So yeah, Jyn Erso, number 14 on my list. Now, who's next? Yes, I love this guy. Next on our list, everybody's favorite protocol droid, C-3PO. I have no complaints at all with this figure. The sculpting is just amazing. Look at that head sculpt. That is C-3PO. A dead-on likeness. Hot Toys, eat your heart out. Hasbro nailed it. And they nailed his articulation, every detail. Fun fact for those of you who don't know this. In the original trilogy, his wires here on his torso were all going down in a line. But in The Force Awakens, they were going across like this. And if you look at both figures carefully, Hasbro nailed both of those details. Now, I wanted to get the Force Awakens one because that red arm is so cool. I think it looks badass on C-3PO. Just an amazing, amazing figure. And I love that C-3PO butt because the back of it, when you articulate him, he walks just like C-3PO walks. His sculpting and detailing is beautiful. And when you get that light shining on him, he's nice and shiny. And those eyes, man. Those eyes. Hasbro nailed them. Look at those eyes, man. Hasbro just freaking nailed it. That's as good as I can get it. Now, I rewatched the Empire Strikes Back and Force Awakens, and I can confirm that C-3PO does in fact have those 3 white dots surrounding the black pupils of his eyes. So that is amazing. I love this figure. I'm so happy I picked him up. And I think it was really smart on Hasbro's part to not give him any articulation in the elbows, because these would have definitely broke. Plus, C-3PO never has that much movement in his elbows. He's always just pretty much like this. I love this guy. So happy he's in my collection. C-3PO, number 13 in my list. If I can just get him to stand. There we go. And next in the list, hold on, I'm looking at it. Yes, I love this guy. The one droid that can give R2-D2 a run for his money. Because this little guy is so cute. It's BB-8! Oh my gosh, this droid is so freaking adorable, so lovable. And just like with R2-D2, a droid that communicates in nothing but bleeps and bloops has such a huge personality. And I'm not gonna lie, I like BB-8 a little bit more than R2-D2. But I still love R2-D2, and I'm dying to get him in my Black Series collection. Yeah, this figure, he's beautiful. He's got all the accurate paint applications. That face is dead on. You got all this beautiful sculpting up here. The antennas are accurate. I would know. I just rewatched Force Awakens.